Welcome. On this video we will learn how to create procedural materials that are not limited to the surface of the object. I present you, the solid textured egg. If you are new to procedural textures, follow the link on top and then come back to this video. Remove everything on the scene and create a UV sphere. Press S, then Z to scale it on the Z-axis. It's important not to apply the scale, since we will use that to keep an even distance from the origin to the border in all directions. Right-click the object and choose Shade Smooth. Now we will create the boolean that will let us see inside our egg. Create a cube, make it larger than the egg in all directions. Move it up by pressing G then Z to limit the movement in Z-axis. Select the cube, then the egg and press Ctrl- on the numpad to create a non-destructive boolean. If that doesn't work for you, you should probably activate the Bool Tool add-on that already comes with Blender. Go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, search for Bool Tool and activate it. Move the cube in Z-axis to see a slice of the egg. Go to Shading tab. Select the default material. We will start by creating the mask that will separate the eggshell from the egg white. Add a texture coordinate and a vector math node. You can press Shift-A, then search the name of the nodes to add them. If you don't understand a word of what I'm saying, follow the link on the top of the video to learn the basics of procedural textures. Plug the object coordinate to the vector math node and set the operation to distance. This will create a scale that goes from 0 at the center of the egg, and scales to 1 at all points of the surface of the object. If you have Node Wrangler installed, you can press Ctrl-Shift and left-click a node to preview its output. Add a math node and set the operation to greater than. Then set the threshold to 0.98. Let's create a basic material for the eggshell. This should be easy enough to follow just by watching. Copy my settings. Now let's add a mix shader and plug the eggshell material and use the mask we have created as the factor. For the mask that separates the egg white from the yolk, we will use a color ramp, because we want a softer transition between them. Since the scale from object coordinate goes from -1 to 1, and the color scale goes from 0 to 1, we need to add a map range node to make the color ramp work as expected. Now we can control the mask from the color ramp. Now let's duplicate the mix shader by pressing Shift D. I'll make a bit of room to add the egg white material now. I'll just make a few adjustments since this already looks about right. Now all we need to do is to create the yolk material. Duplicate the principled bsdf. Add a noise and a mix RGB node. Shift-Control left-click the noise node to preview its output. If you still didn't activate Node Wrangler, now it's probably a good time. Now Control-Shift left-click the Mix RGB node to see how it looks with color. Connect the Mix RGB output to the color input of the bsdf. Add a bump node and connect the noise output to its hide input. Connect the bump node to the principled normal input and Control-Shift left-click the principled bsdf to preview the material. That looks good enough for this exercise. Now let's finish the connections and see how our egg looks. There you go. One step closer to becoming a procedural texture master. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Remember to support my content by subscribing, liking and commenting the videos. See you on the next tutorial.